everybody, this is Tina with Loving Life's Little Blessings. I have a special video for you guys today. I thought I would do a comparison of the kits. When I did a small haul from BeckyHiggins.com, I shared with you guys that the core kits have changed, the boxes have changed, the content had changed, and I had kind of asked if you guys would be interested in me kind of comparing and telling you my thoughts on the changes with the cards and everything, and a lot of you said yes, please compare what has happened. So I thought I would do that, and I'm gonna dive in and just share with you guys how things have changed. So I have one of the brand new core kits, and then I have a couple of the old core kits. So this is an old Seafoam Edition core kit, and the Seafoam Edition and the Midnight Edition are really my very favorite editions. So I have a couple of these on hand. The Seafoam Edition is no longer available. And this is when the core kits first really came out and they kind of changed over to this box. This is what you got. And you got a lot of the same card. So you can see right here, you got a ton of the same card. I think you got maybe 50 of the same card. I mean, look at this. You just got a ton of the same card. So there wasn't very much variety. I think there were maybe like 10 different designs, and then you got 50 of each design, and that's how it was. And you can see that there are really not any this way. There's not very many cards that go this way in the older core kits. They mostly go this way. Except on the 4x6 cards, of course, you can flip it over and it can be either direction, okay? So then, after there were these core kits, and probably about a year or so later, when the newer editions came out, then you got this. Same box, same beautiful box with a magnetic strip that I love so very much. And then what they did is they updated the cards so that instead of getting 50 of the same design, you only got 10. This is the Azure kit, and I have not used this kit very much. So what I do when I get my core kits is I take everything out, and you can see that mine are all, like, here's journaling cards. Here's filler cards. So what I do is I take my cards out. I'll try to find some that are. And because you got 10 of each card, what I would do is I would decide which side I liked better. So this looks like, is it all 10? I know I've used some of this core kit. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, so I've used one of them. So with getting 10 cards, what I would do is I would decide if I liked this side or if I liked this side. Now, if I liked this side, I would just put more than this side, more than the journaling side, because each card is going to have a filler card, and then it's going to have a journaling card on the other side. That was the other update I believe that they made. Let me look in the Seafoam. No, I think it's always been a filler card on this side and then a journaling card on the other side. So I would just look and see which one I liked better. In this case, I do not like the journaling side of this. It's not something that I would choose to use. There's not a lot of room to journal. So I just put this in my filler spot, okay? But if I happen to like, sorry, the garbage guy is here. So this, I can tell that I split them up. So with there being 10 of each design, what I was able to do is I would put 5 in my filler spot and then 5 in my journaling spot. So that's how I broke up my core kits. So that way when I am looking through my core kit or I'm trying to put stuff together, what I can easily do is I know all of these are all the ones that I want to use for filler cards. So I don't have to look at this and then flip it over and decide, go over here, flip it over, do I need this? I know that these are just going to be all the ones I'm going to use for my filler cards. Then I can come over here and I can look at these and know all of these are what I'm using for my journaling cards. Okay. So sometimes they're really uneven if I happen to like more filler cards than I do journaling cards. So that's where, like, obviously there's a lot of filler cards here in this slot. I've used some of these cards so they're not exact. Like this, I think, is all 10. Because it's just plain, so there's no reason to just use a plain card. Really, I would rather have the filler. And then usually up here is kind of like miscellanea, or if there's ones I'm not, aren't crazy about, or ones that go the opposite direction, so that go this way, because I don't use my album this way. I never use Design D. I always take my photos this way, and I really 99% of the time use Design A, or a design that just has where my photo can go this way. Okay, that is just a personal preference because it makes life easy. I just learned a long time ago with Project Life that I had to compromise with a few things. Things that I feel like is a compromise for me is I just always take my photos in this direction, and it makes it super easy. Like, I don't have to think about it. When I'm putting my layouts together, I don't have to worry about if this photo is, vertical and this one's horizontal, and how do I get it in the page protectors, and how do I make that transition. If I have horizontal photos on one layout and then I flip it over and I have vertical photos, it's not going to work because they're pocketed places to put your photos. So that's my thought on the vertical versus horizontal. I just always take my photos this way. So I know there are some of you that always take your photos the other way. It's actually, if you've taken photography classes or anything like that, you're actually taught to take your photos like this. And I know Wendy, who has struggled with Project Life, one of the things she struggled with in the beginning is she always took her photos like this. So there's these cards, you can see that this kit, it doesn't have any cards like this, okay? So that doesn't bother me because of the way I take my photos. I know that for some of you, that's been a real struggle in having core kits because you need cards that go like this. And in fact, in the entire lineup of core kits before this year, there was really only one core kit that I noticed had a lot of cards in the 3x4 form that were like this, and that is the Craft Edition core kit, which is, the style of that core kit is probably not one that a lot of people like, or a lot of people are going to want to get. Some of the other core kits are much better than the Craft core kit. I have the Craft core kit and I've not used it hardly any. So let's set this aside and let's grab the new core kit. So first, of course, the box has changed. I ranted about that in my first video. I still do not like these boxes. They are slightly smaller than the other box, so they do fit on a regular size bookshelf better. Now these don't. When you set them on the bookshelf, they hang over a little bit. They're a little too long. So these are a little bit smaller and they fit on the regular bookshelf a little bit better. Okay, that's about the only thing that I can say that is positive about this box. You can see that I've ripped it several times, even trying to be careful. The very first time I opened it, I ripped it. I didn't know it was going to be so fragile, and then I've still ripped it several times, even trying to be careful. Okay, so they slide out. You have to keep the box if you want to know what core kit it is. It's not printed anywhere on here. It's not printed on the card. So if you just get rid of the box and you keep the tray, you'll need to write on the side of the tray what edition it is if you won't end up remembering. I have too many core kits to kind of remember exactly what is what. So I always like knowing where they're at, especially if I keep them in my box and I don't break them up into color. So I don't like the box at all. The next thing is there's this tray over the container, and you will want to make sure you keep this. At first, I threw it away, I tossed it, and what happens is if you put this back in your box, there's no plastic or anything here, so your cards will just fall out. This plastic acts as a barrier to your box, so you will want to make sure you keep that. Okay, so next, there's this, the tray is still the same. The tray comes out of these, and it's still the same tray. I think, well, it's a little bit smaller because the box is smaller. So everything is the same here. Okay, so I did the same thing when I got this core kit. I took everything out, and then I started separating my cards. So I separate them also, like I put all of these types of cards with the sayings. I put all of those together, and then I put all just the background filler cards together, and then all my journaling cards. So what I noticed right away is instead of being 10 full prints of cards, there's only 8. Okay, so I think that they did that so that they could take out that additional 2. I think there were 50 designs, 10 each of each design. I think that's how it worked out. And I think what they did is took out that extra 2 cards and then made another design, because I noticed that these were really full of designs. Like there are a ton of different designs. So I think that's mainly why they did that. So what I did is I just, instead of doing 5 each for each stack, I just did 4. So if I liked this, the front and the back of it, then I just did 4 in each pile. So that wasn't too big of a deal. That I felt like there was a little bit, I don't know, for the way I use the core kits, I felt like I really did miss those extra 2 cards. So basically, if you want to use this card and you use 4 in a layout, you're only going to be able to use this 1 card and 1 layout for your album. And I'll show you what I mean with that when we get done looking at this. I'll show you my album. So I noticed that right away, and you can see I have them broke up. In this particular kit, I liked a lot more of the filler cards than I did the journaling cards. So you can see I have 2 spaces for filler cards, and then I don't have very many pulled out that I'll use for journaling cards, okay? So that's that. So the other thing that I noticed is there is a chunk of cards that go this way now. So I know that that is really great for all of you that need these, that do your photos like this and that use Design D. I really hate it because I don't do that. So I feel like all these cards is a complete waste of my time. So I did buy this from Becky Higgins, from her site. So I paid the full amount, $29.99 for this kit. I typically do not do that. I typically wait until I have a coupon and I go into a store to get it, or I wait until it's on clearance. I got the Happy and the Aqua kit from Becky Higgins, but I did not pay full price. It was during one of her sales. So typically I will not pay $29.99 for a kit because I think it's ridiculous. I do not think that it's worth that much money. With that said, I had really wanted this particular core kit, and I thought, well, you know, every once in a while, I don't mind paying that. I really mind paying that when I can't even use this many cards. This is craziness. So all of these cards are in this direction. Same thing with the journaling. They're all in this direction, and I won't be able to use them. So I've thought that maybe I would be able to trim them down and mat them on some paper, or I would layer them on my 4x6. I do that at times. I do layer some cards onto 4x6 cards. So I will try to get as much use out of them, but even that is annoying because the whole point of Project Life is to just drop it in pockets and not have to glue anything or layer anything. And while I enjoy doing that, I don't want to have to do that if I don't have time. So I'm really disappointed that there's this many cards that are this direction. And I will say again, I understand that there are some of you that need this, and having an entire core kit with no cards this direction, I'm sure is frustrating. So with that, I don't like to complain without offering a solution, and I don't really know what a solution would be, because obviously to have one core kit or each core kit in each design in both orientations, you know, having an entire core kit that is this orientation and having a core kit that is the other orientation, this orientation, is obviously, it's probably really not realistic to do that when you're producing product and having product on the shelves and all of that. So this is probably as close to a solution as you can probably get by adding some of these in here. And obviously it's not nearly what is in this orientation. Let me see if I can do this and show you guys the difference. So, I mean, obviously there's more of this orientation than there is of this orientation. So I will just, my solution for this, I will no longer pay the even if I really want the kit, I will not pay the $29.95 on Becky Higgins' site for this. I do not feel like it's worth that. I will wait until it is in a store and I will use a coupon. I did get the confetti kit as well, and it is the same thing. There's less. There's not 10 of each design, and there's a chunk of cards that are like this. So that is my take on the new kits, the way they're doing them. I'm sure that the boxes were changed simply for financial reasons. It's obviously, this is a much sturdier box. It's much more expensive. It has the metal closure, so obviously that is expensive. And then it feels to me like it's lighter. Like it feels like this is lighter than this. So I don't know if that affects shipping, how Becky Higgins is shipping. I have no idea. Thank you guys. Leave me a comment and let me know if you've gotten a new kit that's like this, if you like it, if you've seen them in stores. I would love to know how they look in stores this way. I've not been to any stores where I've seen the new kits like this, but I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on the changes. And if you do your photos like this, if you need cards like that, please leave me a comment and chat with me about it and let me know if this is something that you're excited about. All right, I just wanted to show you how I used the adventure kit in my actual album. I used it for the month of July. When I got it, I was really excited and I wanted to go ahead and see how it would look in my album. So you can see how I typically put, when I use a core kit, or well, basically whenever I do the middle and then the title card, I always use a title card, and then you can see I use coordinating cards to go in the center. So what I typically would do is just use the same card, like I would use 4 of each card and then alternate them all through the middle. With the adventure kit, I didn't quite do that because of how many cards you have. I felt like it was a little bit harder to do that. This spread I did, you can see I have 2 of these and then 4 of these. So I used these 4 journaling cards. So that's it. There's no more of those. They're done because there's only 4 each of each card now. And then whatever is on the back side of this, there'll be 4 of those cards left. So here's this. I did the same thing. I did Life is an Adventure, 2 of these cards, 2 of these cards, and then 4 of the journaling cards. And that's what I'm starting to do with the newer kit anyways, is it seems to work if I do 2 different filler cards. So in this case, it's this Life is Our Great Adventure, and then there's the Dragonfly filler card, and then there's 4 of the same journaling card. So that makes it coordinate. Here on this one, I did exactly what I would typically do. I did the 4 filler cards that are the same and then the 4 journaling cards that are the same. And I did use this card right here. You could use it this way or you can use it this way. I think it looks pretty both ways. I'm using it this way. And so I did, let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 layouts with that kit in July, and I really liked the way it turned out. So I just thought I would insert that footage so you could see how it actually looked in the album. I'll have photos on my website. Thank you guys so much for coming by and hanging out with me, and I will chat with you later.